To implement authentication, we first of all need a fitting route. So in the auth.js route here, I will add a new route, a post route, where I will log the user in. So it will be /login. We could add validation here, but I don't really care about this because I will check the email password pair anyways. So we can also directly go forward to our controller action. So let's implement that. Let's work on the controller action now. For that, in the auth file in the controllers folder, I'll add a new action which I'll name login, which of course is a function with request, response, next, and then some logic. And in here, as before, I'll retrieve my email, from request, body, email. I'll retrieve the password from request, body, password. And I now, first of all, want to find out whether that email address exists, because if it does not, then we already know that you can't log in. So I'll use my user model and find one user where the email equals the extracted email I got here. We can succeed or we can fail with that. If we fail, we'll use that same handler we used before. So we'll throw an error, because here failing, of course, means that we simply had some network error, some error with the database. If we make it into the then block, we have a user object, but that does not mean that we found a user. It could be undefined if no user was found. We basically always end up in the then block if no error is thrown. So here, I'll check if user is not defined. And if it is not defined, I'll create a new error object where I add a message of a user with this email could not be found, anything you want. Where I'll set a status code of, and now you could choose different codes. You could go for 404 because no user was found, or 401 for not authenticated, and then I'll throw that error. If we make it past this if check, we know that we have that email address. Now we need to validate the password. For this, I'll quickly create a new variable, loaded user, and I'll store my user in that variable so that I can use it in other functions later too. Now I'll use bcrypt again, and there I'll use the compare method to compare the password the user entered with the password I got stored, so with that hashed password. So user.password is the password I'm looking for. I'll return this because this will give me a promise, and hence I can add another then block here. Here I get back true or false, depending on whether this is equal or not. And if it is not equal, of course then the user did enter a wrong password. So here I'll create another error. Wrong password maybe. And I'll add a status code of 401 again and throw that error. But if we make it past the if check, then we know the password is equal to the password the user entered. So the user entered a correct password. And now we need to generate such a JSON web token. Let's do that next.